I think you just have to literally toggle YouTube on and off and on and off until it just happens to like your stream. Right, let me get. So this is the Clean Power AA that arrived. Tested it yesterday, fixed a few bits, and now that's all good. So I'll get to that. Let me just rebuild quickly this Mega Drive 2 that we fixed the controller port on the other day, because this has got to go tomorrow. And I've got to just epoxy this port in, because this is that one where the port doesn't sit right. Or is it? Oh no, I haven't. Sweet, I thought I'm going to have to do that for a minute now. It's one less job. Yeah. Do you love the Windows error message as well? Like a genuine error message that's... I bet it's still in now, probably even in the latest Windows. Turn your computer on with no keyboard. No keyboard detected, press F1 to continue. It's like, still to this day, that's the error message on Windows. Goes there, right, YouTube. Yeah, YouTube must be on now, because we have one, that's the wrong size tip for this, one viewer on there. I'm not even going to go for vertical, I don't think. Or do we? I can't remember. I think for vertical, let's see if it works for once. You have to, that stream, you have to schedule a stream. Oh, that's also got the wrong title on this one. Let me just edit this title as well. Edit title and description. Game Gear builds. Save. Hey, welcome in. Oh yeah, definitely. The error message. It's because as developers we're lazy. If something crashes, like that's the last concern. We just wrap it in a try catch and dump out an error log. So that's probably just a hash of like a line code that's crashed. Right, schedule stream, new stream. Same thing, but with vertical in. I still don't understand whether YouTube just automatically makes vertical streams shorts, but we'll see. Thumbnail, don't care. That don't care. It's not made for kids. No. Next. Next. Live chat, blah, blah, blah. Anyone can view. Next. Next. And then I think we have to edit this. I can't wait till I finish my software, so I just have to do all this manual stuff again. Output settings, so I just have to get a new. See, now all. I'm confused. Where's that gone to now? I looked away for 1 minute, now it's gone back to somewhere else. Oh, so if that's already got the vertical, do I click public vertical? And that's that maybe. Yeah, I realise I am just kind of chatting to myself while you guys watch as well. Right, I think that's all we did to get vertical last time. So let's click go live. Yep, that's now preparing. So maybe this will get vertical up as well. Well, there's no way I'm doing that for every stream. It's ridiculous. Like I say, you take about 5 minutes once you go live to get live. It's crazy. Yeah, vertical's on, wicked. So I think if everything stays normal, we should have everything now. Should have Twitch, YouTube vertical, YouTube horizontal, and Facebook vertical. That's my new live website up, because this should be pulling in the live stream as well. Oh, still not. Come on, DNS. I wanted to show it off because the new website I've made for going live, just like to, you know, the RetroSig Live website that was the Stream Elements site or something. I remade that. I think it was this morning. Yeah, it was this morning. And it looks nicer for one. And now it has the background of the website, like the hero page. Just checking I'm not missing anything. Yep. It shows the latest video, like the last video I did. But if I'm live, it should actually stream the live video in the background of the live website. So I won't show it off to see if it works while I'm live. So hopefully. I mean, you guys can check now. If you go to retro6.live, you'll either see this old site, so PC. If you see this old site, it hasn't propagated yet. Whereas the new site, in fact, I can show you on this machine. Let me open up my app. and launch it from here with my little helper tools. Go to Retro 6 Live, launch the site. And I think this will work. This is so lazy. I've even got AI to just launch websites for me with voice dictation. So to launch it locally on this machine, and then it should still run locally okay, I think. So we can see if it works. There we go. So you've got this, and there you go, look in the background. I know it's really dark, but that's me. So see, like I've purposely put it like faded, but that's our live stream now in the background on Retro 6. Like it will be Retro 6.live, and then you got like nice little hover effects and similar to basically the clean screen. It's just a clone of the clean screen website, pretty much. This will then be all the little last streams, and then all streams you can click. Watch live. This obviously doesn't work. I'm currently offline, so I'll need to debug that when I get time, and I'll like have to do it when I go live. Really, like I could actually set a. No, we'll do that after. Otherwise, I'm side questing already. But yeah, that's the new site. Got the live users on the Discord as well. The Buy Me a Coffee now. People seem to prefer this coffee site, so this takes you to just my Angel 6 one. I wasn't going to make one for each, so just a bit easier for donate coffee and Rusty treats. And then the contact, I think I've wired up, so if I put stuff in there, it should send me an email. But yeah, that's the new site, so you can kind of see the live thing in the background when it actually goes live on Retro 6.live, which obviously it isn't yet, so we'll keep an eye on that. And then Facebook, I'll put a welcome comment, see if anyone's actually there. Yeah, it should actually definitely be Buy Me the Beans. I should have a recommended bean purchase link, so you can send me specific beans. Or like a desired Rusty bed, so we can get Rusty a bed when he's saved up enough pennies. How many screws do we need for the back of a Mega Drive 2? Is it 4? Yes, it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That means there should be 2 screws left in here. One's covered by the new port, isn't it? And it's in both here. Is it? Oh, yeah, they're both here. One of the very few times every screw goes back in a console. And then I forgot to even mention what we're meant to be doing on this stream. I have got to... I'll quickly show you this off, just so you can see the Clean Juice AA. And then, what have I got to do? I've got to do a Game Gear that's a bouncer. I've got to do loads of re-PCBs, which is probably all we'll get up to by now. And then if I had time, which I doubt I will today, no, that's probably it. I don't think we're going to get on to anything else. We've got a Game Gear and then more Game Gears, basically. And, oh, I forgot. No, that one I've got to be built. Yeah, that's it. So, 4 screws in, and this one is done. Probably better power it up first, make sure it all still works though. So I'll just have to find a cover before this goes. And then we need now, this is RGB modded, so where's the cable? Is it Mega Drive 2? Yeah, so Mega Drive 2 cable. Controller, we better actually test works. Game. Golden Axe maybe. And power, we'll use the crappy USB power for now. We tested it with and without. Actually, I can't remember what we tested with this one. It was the Mega Drive one we did yesterday, wasn't it? So, but I have tested this worked, I think, on the stream before. You on there, HDMI there, and on. we go. It's a good job it's still working because it's all screwed together. Do we have sound? Yes. I better turn that sound down because I forgot when you guys said how loud the sound comes through, because I'm listening to it from further away than you are from the mic, so you're actually closer than I am. I don't think I've ever worked on an Archimedes at all, to be honest, either. Or have I worked on one? I can never remember. I know I worked on one, probably one before I worked on any other kind of Amigas and things, but I don't know whether that was even it. It was like before I even did stuff like that, so I wouldn't even remember which one it was. That's actually too quiet now, isn't it? There we go. Oh crap, pressed the wrong button already. Use me special, there goes the special on nobody. There we go. Die. Yes. Oh. Revealing how bad I am at Golden Axe now. Streets of Rage was more my thing. I mean, I played Golden Axe, but definitely preferred Streets of Rage. No, you little son. Right, anyway, that's working. Reset button works. Loads up. All good. Right. That one can go to the customer. Let's crack on with these Game Gears, because I've got loads to do. I've got a Game Boy SP IQ coming in as well in a few weeks. I'll give that to the customer in case he hasn't got one. Coming in for some repair. Somebody's, I think it's Australia, my favourite place of all time at the minute. Somebody over there, a local trusted repair shop, has fitted it on, but it's done nothing and they've still got noise, and it's like sentimental to them. So they're sending it over to me to fix. So I'll do that on stream if I can. Where's the paperwork? I'll find the paperwork after. What's that doing? IQ is in like ICUE, I think it is. I think it was like released in Russia or somewhere, but just a rare SP that you don't really see. Worth probably like a few £100, I'd say. Let me show you this before we jump on to actual repair work. So we've got in yesterday CleanJuice AA. So luckily this worked first time with a few caveats. I had to change a few resistors. Add an extra cap down here because, believe it or not, with one cap on here I was getting like 300 millivolts of ripple. I put one extra cap on, now get 40. So this was slight, and it's weird because it's the same. Well, this is a different regulator than the original CleanJuice, but everything's the same. The load and other things, other than changing the regulator and adding this just needs more output capacitance. But that improved the ripple massive. What else did I have to change? I had to change the brightness of this, which I don't think I've even bothered on this sample, because when you plug this in, look how dim that light, like that's not going to shine through the case. So I've changed the resistors on them too for production, so they'll be nice and bright. The charger I got set way too high voltage and way too powerful charge, so it was charging like too fast. So unfortunately, the only downside with nickel metal hydride batteries, you don't need that over the top now, is they take a lot longer to charge because I don't know why. I'm not a battery expert, but I make the circuits to charge them, and I can tell you they take a lot longer than LiPos to charge. So these will literally take like 9 hours to charge, but they'll also last you 20 hours. So you plug it in and it'll just sit and charge basically. And then the new benefit is we have the FPC ribbon now. Are we zoomed in? Here we are. Not that much though anyway. So the FPC now plugs in finally to the clean screen like this, so you can update it, and this cable now plugging into the PC will control the clean screen, so you can program it and stuff. But yeah, give all that a test. Everything works sound. So this is in mass production now, so we should have the CleanJuice AA in about 2.5 weeks if everything goes smoothly. So that's, what do we need from this? We'll need the speaker. For the other ones, I'll nick this because we've got to build a load of these. I'll nick this because we need to test, so all of that's mine, and we'll disconnect that. and we'll get an old. The only downside with the AAs is when I'm testing on my bench, I need a clean juice. So luckily, I kept a couple of clean juice back somewhere. There we go. So that is the only kind of downside. Is, I mean, it's not a downside because what you could do is just grab any LiPo and solder it to the battery springs with the new clean juice AA, and then you can still have like a bench power. So I suppose it's not that bad. Right, what do we have? We've got clean juice, clean amp for testing, a known working clean screen. So I can move that one out of the way. I built one. And let's jump onto a repair first. Let's get the repair out of the way. So we have that. Why can I see a clean screen in this box? What am I doing with it? We have Cryos Diagnostics, full recap. Game Gear stripped down to the Game Gear missing capacitor 209, don't know what that is. Accidentally removed when soldering one ribbon, so we just got to look for a missing cap. It needs a screen replacement along with all the other parts. Oh yeah, I think so. Basically, something done a work or something's ripped, and he wants all the bits installing, if I remember rightly. Which I may or may not remember rightly. Full diagnostics. Yeah, so that's all it's been paid for basically. It's diagnostics and a note to install everything. So that means we've got all this to install then. He's kept his bag with like random bits off which we won't need, so I'll send that back, but keep it on one side. Power boards, as he wanted me to fit the original power boards. Yeah, it looks like it. So we have the back plate there, which we'll need reinstalling. We'll need you. We'll need them then, because he wants the original power boards. Yeah, thanks. I didn't go out yesterday because I was about to go for a drink and then tested that, and then it went to, oh yeah, when it was set to too high a charge, it got to like 120 degrees in like 3 seconds. I was like, oh shit. It was like super hot, but I just got basically the boost regulator set to like 11 volts to charge the 9-volt batteries. So I lowered it to like 9.5 to be closer to borderline, because the regulator that charges the batteries is effectively a low dropout regulator, so it stays clean power. Like, again, no pun intended there, but so the power stays clean when it's charging the batteries. So you keep it just above the voltage of the fully charged batteries, which is 9 volts. And I just set it to 11 thinking give it some overhead. But then that was like 2 volts of extra power charging 6 AAs. Just caused it to like massively overheat for no reason. So I had to fix that, fix a few minor things, but all of it was just like changing resistors. Luckily, nothing had to actually change on the motherboard, so it's gone straight into production. Right, so we just got all these bits for a normal Game Gear, and hopefully, I mean, he says it doesn't work, but I've got a feeling he's maybe just ripped a cap and stopped there because he's done some damage. So let's see where we get to. I suppose the first thing is test this. So get rid of the power board, audio board, use our known board, use a Sonic that we know works. It's the benefit of having all known working parts as well. You can, when I used to start doing Game Gear repairs, and I didn't have, is that on backwards? That's weird. I've got a Game Gear line around. I swear that's upside down. No, it doesn't. Just looks it. That was trippy. I thought that cable was an upside down. Yeah, when I first started repairing Game Gears, and you didn't have known working boards or known working games, or you didn't know much about them, they were a pain to diagnose. If you got no audio or no screen, that's it. You kind of didn't know what to do. So you had to build up the knowledge slowly. But once you know it, like a system, everything becomes a lot easier. So nothing on who's oh geez, I'm gonna have to replace that wheel for him. That is encrusted and fixed in. So look at that. Jesus. Oh yeah, that was stiff. That's gonna have to be, I'm gonna have to swap that. Oh yeah, and the backlight's backlight ribbon screwed, but ignoring all that for now. And to try and get game audio. Yeah, that's shite as well. Where do we start? How far do we go? I mean, I can fit a screen, but I suppose we could do with CNAV. We can either do one or two things. I can fit the clean screen and then try to get things working, or what? We could listen for audio in case the audio amp's dead, or I could scope it. Which one do I do? Because we're not getting any sounds of audio on that now. Let's quickly scope it. Probably makes sense. Been a while since I've had to scope a Game Gear, but probably make some good content because you guys won't have seen this happening. It's all on the wiki, like, but see if I can remember it without going on the wiki, or at least without reading the wiki. I'll probably need the wiki for pinouts and stuff. So I'm gonna first probe. I think it's 5th pin in, like, well, not 5th pin, but 5th long line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this one is the IO request, the in-out request pin. If I'm right, basically that's the Z80. When the ASIC is requesting that it wants to do something, and if you've loaded a game, that'll toggle. Is the very short version of that. So what I typically do, if you're ignoring a screen and audio and you're trying to check if the Game Gear is doing something expected and very likely loading a game, is just look at the IO request pin for activity and pulsing. I think that's a ground. So that's what we're going to do here. And I probably need to check on the wiki though to make sure I'm getting the right pin out. Otherwise, if we're probing the wrong pin, Jesus, stabbed myself with the wire. Then obviously we don't get nowhere. Is the C1? Yeah, I wouldn't worry about caps. This thing will boot with no caps at all. So I'm not even fussed about the state of caps on this board. But yeah, it does look dicey. That does. There's a pin on that. Open the wiki. Have you seen how many people have been on the wiki as well? It's ridiculous. Now I've got actual stats on it. 16,000. That was on 10,000 this morning. And we've got 200 users. It's like, I didn't realize how many people visited this wiki. It's absolutely insane. So Game Gear, reading game card. So I'm just on this for the pinouts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, look at that, I remembered. So IO request is the 5th pin over. That's what we want. We've got the scope. Let's pull up the actual scope. Yeah, probably all of them. Scraping all that info. Right, that can go over to here. One thing I don't like about the Mac version of Picoscope is it puts these stupid vertical lines on by default, and you have to click the settings button that doesn't open settings. It just toggles a vertical line. Like, what in the hell is that about? But yeah, just completely pointless, that is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn on. Put a trigger. Yep, so no activity whatsoever. So this thing isn't even attempting game load. So let's take that out. You know what? We haven't even checked for red light boot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, nothing. So do the obvious thing I tell everybody else to do, and I haven't even looked myself. Oh yeah, not even getting red light boot. So that's probably the main issue. So that one's an easy one because I am going to follow my wiki on this because I made a nice little diagram. If we go to get into red light boot, this is a 1 ASIC because there's one ASIC. Scroll down, blah, 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 1 ASIC, open the picture, follow the guide. So we've got this scope open, we might as well use it. In fact, I can't see my scope with that on, so I'll use a multimeter, like every other person has to. Get me probes, and Definitely need longer probes. Say that every stream as well. So it shows you expected voltages on the screen up there, which is, we can zoom in on this, and we have to do this with the power on. Oh, that's the problem. Don't even need the wiki. Do we see the problem? I'll put the probes away. We'll get the resistor book out instead. What do I say every single time as well? Start with a visual. Well, I never say it, to be honest. Other people tell me that. Start with a visual inspection. I actually say, that cap looks bad, I don't give a shit. Maybe we start with visual. So that is... let me take that off. We don't even need that now. Go to... No, bigger than the traces. It's right in the center of the screen. Where is my... Where have they gone? Public files, schematics, there we go. Schematics, Game Gear, 1ASIC. Zoom in, or don't zoom in because you're a Mac and nothing zooms on a Mac. Do Mac just hate people that want to zoom in? I've even made today a little Mac previewer app because the preview on Mac you can't zoom in without clicking buttons. In fact, I think, oh, I've got it on my own wiki here. I can just, didn't realise I could do that. I can zoom in there. No, even multiple keys don't even zoom. Open Mac Preview. Open an image in Mac with Mac Preview and try to zoom without clicking the plus button. You cannot do it. It's ridiculous. I've made an app so you can. Right then, so issue is red light boot circuit. We have no top resistor, which should be 9.1K. So he's obviously swiped that off installing this ribbon, and then something fucked up, and then he's panicked anti. So that's likely going to be the only issue, hopefully. So we need a 9.1K roughly. It's not that critical. Oh, we have exactly 9.1, so I can swap it for exactly the right one. Shall we practice my micro hot air skills? Let's put some fresh solder on. There we go, plenty of solder. Micro hot air. Tweezers, and wow, you've got no depth perception though. That is definitely the... I could probably do this micro hot air and stuff better if I could actually use my eyes instead of trying to look at the stream so I don't get my head over it. And this resistor is way too small for this pad. There we go, that is absolutely shite. Would have been way easier using a soldering iron and flux, but I'll give it a go. That would have worked better if the resistor was actually the right size. So there we go, that's on anyway. Baby resistor. Oh yeah, this board's it's got trace rot, there's rot here, this wheel's knackered, the ribbon's knackered, these are knackered. Might have to do a baby overhaul because it is pretty bad. Oh yeah, it's no problem soldering if I was looking. The problem is I try to do a stream so you guys can see stuff, so I try not to use like the microscope, and it means I get used to having basically a flat 2D image on my screen up here while I'm holding tweezers down here with a stream delay, and I've got no perception of where this is. So it's a lot harder to do, but obviously makes for a better stream if I don't have to look under a scope for simple things. And I've got better at it. The more I've practiced, I've got better at it. So this should now have red light boot. There we go. So this is probably now going to get game load with audio. There we go. So that's that fixed. Now let's get on to fixing this complete menagerie of a board. That's actually not a problem. I thought these ribbons were going to be a problem. That one is though. But that's just cut off. So we're going to have to put him a new power ribbon on, I think. It's only right, because see how it won't load now. Move this around. So maybe if I keep it still. Oh, VREF bypass is on my test board for some reason. Oh, no, it isn't. So yeah, it's going to be this ribbon, like wobbling this around. So we'll let Sonic load and then watch. I'll move this around and you'll see you'll see better from this angle. So ready? Oh. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's not that bad. Yeah, I think when it's in the case and solid in, they're not too bad. It's loading fine, actually. It's just, obviously, you wouldn't be winging that around when it's in the case. So, ignore them for now. If they look a bit mashed, might change them after. Depends how much time we spend on it. I missed the last few comments as well because I wasn't looking. Oh yeah, MacBook's fine, no problem. It's literally on a Mac with a mouse is your problem, which is a good portion of most people's work. Like, I only work on the laptop in the living room, but I've made a baby app. Let me see if I can launch it. Launch the app. I have gotten so lazy. I'll now launch my Mac Previewer app so I can show you. It's literally a clone of the Mac Previewer, just that you can actually use your mouse and you can use a touchpad. So if this works, I'll show you this as well. The Mac Previewer is now launching. How lazy you have to get instead of opening Rider and pressing F5 to just dictate and tell AI to go in a folder and launch an app that you made. It's got to be pretty damn lazy for that. Right, so there's my little app. Now I can click open and I'll assign this to things when I can be bothered to like double click on files, but for now, where is it? Websites? Where's my wallpapers gone? Wallpapers, there we go. I don't know, Amiga Kickstart. So, ta-da, you got that. Oh look, you can drag around. You can zoom in. Oh, would you believe it? You can actually do stuff. You can zoom to fit. You can even get, I don't know, pencil, draw things. Oh, I didn't like that. I can click it. I can move it. He says I can move it. He can't move it yet. Should be able to move it. There we go. Can move it around. Can delete if I can remember the shortcut. If not, I've got Eraser. You can click to delete. Draw squares, draw circles, change colour. Can ignore me colour and draw it in the same colour because I haven't finished writing it. Oh, there we go. One was a stroke. One was the border. So you can do stuff like that. You can do an arrow, so you can zoom in and say you wanted an arrow, you can do that. You can hold Command to flip the arrow direction. So whether you start pointing at something and then you want it pointing at it, or whether you're going to drag to it, you can do that. Hold Shift to lock in angles. You can fill, which I don't think I've actually done yet. I think I was in the middle of that one. Oh no, that's the highlighter, sorry. That's like a transparent highlighter with a really poorly chosen icon of a fill icon, because I stole it from my Game Gear Studio being lazy. You notice all these icons are the same as my Game Gear Studio. Yeah, so basically that was meant to just be a Mac Previewer where you can actually zoom in and out, and then if you're on a trackpad, you've got a trackpad option there. So now this won't zoom in and out with that because it's expecting a pinch, and that's acting like the trackpad, your zoom button. So yeah, that's that. I don't even know how we got onto that topic. That's that. Right, so this is working. Back to this. So we need this wheel. Somebody said on the Discord as well the other day, there's no wheels anymore for Game Gear. That's because I brought them all years ago. Like, genuinely, I brought every single original wheel that was left for the Game Gear from a company in Shenzhen. And they are... Uh-oh, where have I put them? Where are the wheels? There. No, spilled everything. Top heavy. There we go. I'll clean up that mess after. So here are all of the remaining original Game Gear, brand new, unused wheels. And that's why nobody can find them, because I literally brought them all. So luckily, I know quite a lot of factories in Shenzhen, and if I want to, I can like source certain things. Like I brought all of the, what did I buy? Like a DC port or a headphone jack for one of the consoles, like Game Boy Color or something. I didn't realize I'd brought the last of the stock like I have with these wheels. And some geezer on the website, like 6 months ago, just brought 50, wiped us out, sold them, and then I went to ask the factory for more, and they're like, oh no, that was all of them. And I was like, oh shit, I just sold a whole lot for like nothing as well, for like 50p each, not realizing that they were one of them products that you can never get again. So we've got to get this off. So I'm going to do, get me little, ouch, standy things. These are heavy. Take my game out for now. There's in there. Oh, need one. Ta-da. And then I'm just going to go. In fact, I wonder if I can get that one, ouch, under that camera. So you can see. Zoom up. Just about get it there. Whether that's any better, but I'm just going to go underneath for 400 degrees. And we don't really care about melting this existing one, but we should be able to get it off technically without melting as well, because in fact if I put this on this side, I can then lift up without the board lifting up, so I can apply a bit of force to actually get this off. There we go. So go under there now, and then it should lift off without melting it any further than he's technically already melted it, basically. There we go. So it's one of them where you have to have confidence to get it off, and because this is already melted and we don't care, you have confidence, and then you tend to get it off without melting it more. But other than it being knackered from where he's already knackered it, that's it. So that's all. Just use the hot air to get this off actually as well. You come on. You can come on. That's it. I need to put a bunch of components back on and clean up the board a bit. So his original wheel, I'm pretty sure it doesn't want that original knackered wheel back. We've got a literally brand new original. The stands, I think I got them off Amazon. They are, I think the Hakko, the something grips they're called. But you can get, I wouldn't pay the money for the Hakkos, you can get pretty decent clones, let me see. In fact, these might not even be the Hakko ones, because I didn't want the Hakkos. I couldn't get them at the time. I don't think they were even in stock. Let's have a look. It was when I was trying to get that hot air station. Remember when I was killing all the VDPs? It was around that time I was trying to buy that Hakko hot air thing. And I'm sure they did, as well as not having that Hakko thing in stock anywhere. Yeah, there we go, the clones. Oh, I can't chat in Twitch either. I'm going to have to open Twitch to paste it in, because that window's disappeared. That's the link to them, and that's the page to them. So, oh, and they're out of stock again. They're just hard to find anywhere. So these are like, I don't know, 36 quid each, but you can see there, free delivery on that one, free delivery on that one. The original Hakkos are like £100 each or something, but they're basically just a lead weight with a rubber grip, and they're not exactly, I can tell these aren't super high quality. Like, you know, I can see, I don't know, the plastic just feels a little bit, not premium, not polished, but it does that. You're holding a stand. I might melt this with an iron, I don't care. It does the job, and it's like fine for me. So I wouldn't bother with the Hakkos unless you really wanted to. Now, can we zoom into this without losing focus? I bet we can't, because we're at the top end. No, so we can't get any closer. Mind you, we don't need it in the stand anymore, do we? So that can come off. Yeah, I think for doing the job, I think once you've if you try with cheaper stuff and you're happy with it and you think you want the better stuff, then you can buy it after, but they're basically a big heavyweight with a rubber grip on, so they're perfectly fine for doing what we need. Yeah, this board's nasty, isn't it? So that goes through there, they solder onto there, and yeah, they need cleaning up. Put that resistor book away. I suppose one thing we haven't checked as well as does this power board and everything work, but we'll come to that. Try and get rid of some of this grime. I mean, these pads are technically not used anyway. I don't know why I'm doing this, because he's having a clean screen and these pads are literally not going to get used, like, at all. He just uses the wheel and we disconnect the pads by removing the components, so this is really pointless, me doing what I'm doing here, but still. There we go, that's just a waste of time and solder wick, just for trying to clean up the ugly looking stuff. I think this board's generally rotted anyway, there's rot everywhere. And the customer only wants it up and running. They haven't paid for, like, you know, all the works to be done. They just want the diagnostics time they haven't actually paid for. The diagnostics time was selected so that we could install their clean screen and stuff, but they knew what they said was they knew it worked before they were messing, so I was pretty confident then it's going to just be an issue with like something simple like it ended up being, basically. So I knew I could likely fix this within no time, and then the diagnostics money can go towards installing the clean screen. It's tacked on now, I can get this on properly. I'm going to go back to this one with some extra flux. That's it. Flip over, and then, like I say, we don't care about the pads there because we're just going to solder them 2 pins, which is what we want. This cap is on, but C38 I don't think is even needed. I think that's the old backlight circuit. Can double check. On a 1 ASIC, open up the wiki again. And C38, I'm sure. Actually, why am I opening that one? There's like a nicer drawn one, isn't there? VA0, VA1. I can never remember which one it is. Not a single one of them. There we go. Oh no, it's the wrong. What is it? Yeah, it says. There we go. Can we search and see? What is it? C38, did I say? C38 is a debounce for the start button, so not needed, but I'll put it on. I think it's a 2.2 nanofarad, I think. 0603, so pretty pointless, but we'll restore it. What's 2200 pica? It's 2.2 nano, isn't it? Somebody wanted to Google it. R34 and R35. R34 and 35 are purposely removed for the backlight. It disconnects this backlight. So these components here that is removed disconnect this wheel. from the rest of the circuit, so they stay removed. We've reinstalled that one. This one we're about to put back on, and then we'll look at the rest in a minute. Well, my desk is already a shit tip. That did not take long. Did anybody yeah, that can't be right. I think that is, yeah, there's no way. That'll be farad, because 100 microfarad is 0.1 farad. 10 microfarad, 1 microfarad, so 1.1. Well, that'd be 1.1. I double check that. That does not sound right. 2000. Oh, you put 2.2. No, 2,200 picofarad. I'm pretty sure it'll be 2.2 nano. Move that over there and put this one on. So this is a perfect one to test with the hot. That's never 6. Yeah, it is 0603. Put the solder on that and use the micro hot air, because this is the right size, so we should be able to get this on nice and easy. So unpleasant working on a rotted board though. Like, you just want to go to town and fix it all up and clean it all, but that's not what the customers are having done, so we've got to make sure we don't waste the time on stuff they're not paying for. You get down. There we go. Flux. Definitely quicker, just use a soldering iron, but playing with my tool. There we go. 2.2 nano, yeah, cool. Yeah, I could do. I think I've spoke to them when I was looking, and I think it's more of a cost thing with them. They'd already brought the stuff, they've tried to fix it themselves, and then they've had to pay for this, so I think it's more trying to keep costs down, basically. That's just IPA as well. We haven't done any damage there. Yeah, so this lot does not matter. All the old backlight circuits, so we don't care. Same. Oh, knock that one off as well. That is same again. 2.2 nano, which I've just put away. The debounce. To be honest, I think I removed that when I was removing the ribbon myself. Sure, that was there. Uh, 2.2 pico. Oh, hang on. 2.2 nano. I want that 2.2 pico. Put them on wrong. I put 2.2. All that speaking about it, and I put 2.2 picofarad on, so I've got to swap that other one out as well. I think I did. Anyway, there's actually one missing from this, so maybe I put the other one on correct, and then I've gone to the wrong part of the book the second time, maybe. There we go. 2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I put the wrong one on. That's 2.2 nano this time, definitely. And let's just use the soldering iron for this one. So you come off. And then this one goes on. And these would work 100% fine without them as well. They're just ever so slight debounces for the button presses, but I've never noticed a difference with them off. But it's just for one of them, 1 in a million, where you get a bit of extra noise and it triggers a double press on some game that maybe is ridiculously critical for button presses, you might notice. It's just floating solder. That one is not connected. Set. Oh, thanks for the follow. And so we're looking okay there. Oh, that's fine, other than it being ugly and rotted. This side of the board isn't as bad. That cap's got no solder on, just randomly missing solder on one side. It's like I say, if you're doing this work though yourself, don't be too worried about caps. They're never a problem on the Game Gear if they're off. They're only a problem if they're on. Like if you've got the originals on and they are shorting out, that's where your problems come in. Whereas missing every single cap on the Game Gear is not a problem. Unless you're using an original screen, you just won't see the original screen. That's the only. In fact, there's only, yeah, basically, if you wanted caps on, you'd only need them two and them two, I'm pretty sure. On the whole board, even with an original screen, that'd then work as well. Alright, so we know it boots anyway. I'm probably just want to clean that up, that's a bit mank as well. Let's do stack two on top of each other. Yes, this is a double stacked set of caps. Not sure why, but I'll leave them on. More caps won't hurt. Prevent them rotting, recapping. It's literally, that's why we recap most things, as preventative maintenance to make sure caps don't leak. But once they've leaked, you kind of screwed, the board's rotted, and then it's a new board, really. Yes, that looks all right, bother, and it's loading. So, I mean, do we want to take a look at the state of his buttons on the other side? Not too bad. So it's not bad. I've seen 10 times worse, so that should be good enough now. We need to, I guess, test his power board. It works, which I suppose we can do when we built it up, to be honest, right before building it up, but I never use the original power boards, ever. Let's bench power it. I wonder if my live website's up now, even though you've seen it, so it doesn't really matter because you've already seen it. Yay, it's up. So Retro6.live is now the live site, and yeah, there's me in the background. Yeah, that's trippy. See how much delay there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-second delay on the live website. That's pretty cool though. So there's me, hello, and then there's my hand. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eee. And then you can scroll down and see. There we are now. 80 views. No views on the vertical. What? Did the vertical never work even though we said it worked? Stupid YouTube. Why am I even bothering to stream the vertical then? It literally showed up as it was streaming. Oh yeah, let's see the little mouse. Little light. I'm all into my whole retro mouse effects and things like that. And all the sounds and stuff. Yeah, right, what are we doing? Side questing again. Close that down. Right, power is original. I've started to try and get this work on like me multimeter overlay screen thing working on a Mac, because they only made it work on Windows and I've moved to Mac, and then now my little overlay for voltage doesn't work, but I've nearly got it working. Of course, the Rigol multimeter doesn't support yeah, his power board's fudge. No power. the Rigel only supports Windows, so I've had to rewrite the library for the VISA or VISA, whatever you'd class it as, interface. Basically, just a HTTP and a TCP interface to get it working on Mac. I pretty much had to redo that. Right, that's 8 volts. This thing's turned on. Huh? Okay, it is working. Just pulling absolutely no power. So 34 volts, which, because he's using a clean screen, we need to safely cut that wire, basically, to make sure we don't pass 34 volts into the system, as even though we've removed the resistors, that's just the safe thing to do. That won't pass in. So yeah, his board actually is pulling no noticeable power on my bench, but it's because it's not plugged in. I thought I'd at least see, like, 10 milliamps or something, but no, the lagging on the mouse is an optimization thing that I need to fix when I can be bothered. It'll be on both sides. It's just cleaning up some of the code that I'm being lazy on, like some of the effects. It seems to lag on some people's and not others, mainly like Intel Macs or some M1s, whereas my M1's fine. But it's a pretty visually fancy site, if you will. But yeah, I can do optimization runs when I can be bothered, basically, is the answer. It's just I can't be bothered at the minute. So that in. Power board, we're probably best testing his power board first with our audio to make sure the power board works. Yeah, there you go, 70 milliamps. Yeah, so that's working. Yeah, Windows, watch your browser. That might help, and I can always test. But either way, I do know there's major things I can improve with the efficiency on it, but it'd be nice to be able to see it lagging and then fix it. Oh yeah, I use Windows Chrome on other things. So I'll double check it anyway. I'll do like an optimization run next week, probably. Go through the sites and clean up, because they all use the same code base for the most part now. So like, I've made the sites purposely start looking similar, so it gets a feel of like Unity, basically. These is this. I don't even know myself because I can't remember. Anybody know what the 1A Sika ribbon looks like on the bottom? I can never remember. It's not that one, is it? It's that one with the 4. Yeah, that's the one. Oh, 2 there. Stuck together. Ribbons. So I think the next thing is actually, oh no, I went over there for a speaker and started cleaning the desk up. There's a speaker. Okay, sorry, let's use his original speaker, because that's the other thing we need to do anyway, is test his speaker works. So I might as well plug the actual speaker in. On. Oh, that's going to be horrible. Cold tea. Yeah, so everything works there. Oh, God, that's gross. Yeah, I don't mind cold coffee so much as cold tea. That is disgusting. Right, clean screen install time then. Something. Get that out the way. Game out the way. Shouldn't need the bench now. 5 volts or 4 volts. I always reset my bench voltage as well before I turn it off, because if you set something to 9 volts and then forget and then turn it on the next day and you always presume it's like 3 or 5 volts, you can end up plugging random power, like 9 volts into a 3 volt system, because you just forget to check the voltage on your bench. Right. Right, this ribbon, we can go to this cam now. Come on, ribbon, can't pick you up. Zoom out a bit, I think we're a little bit over there. Yeah, it's got the output turn off. It's just more so it's one of them you just literally forget to look sometimes. You're just presuming that your bench is set to a voltage and you go and turn it on. The worst ones are the ones I say with like the spinny dials. I hate those because if you just accidentally knock a spin dial, it can send 30 volts into a system, which I've definitely done before. Not in a long while because I've stopped using them benches, but when you had the cheaper benches with the spin dials and no lockout, so easy to like basically change the voltage. It's ridiculous. See, so this Q4 isn't needed and it gets in the way of this ribbon a little bit, so you can either move this over to fit in like that, or you can just take Q4 off because, again, part of the old backlight circuit, so I'm probably going to just remove Q4 with baby hot air. It's an excuse me, baby hot air again. So let me maybe move him out of the way, man. Let's take him off. And I'll put this one in the customer's bag with the other bits just so he's got it. See enough? Better. Right, now we can blow him on. Perhaps can zoom in a bit more. There's nothing else to look at up there. Is that the cap I replaced? Yeah. So the originals are maybe. The originals must be 0806s then, aren't they? I thought they were 0603s on this. See, all I ever use is 0402s, so I always forget the size of other components if they're big. They just, to me, big components are either 0603s, but I forget how big 0603s are sometimes because I'm so used to using like smaller ones. These now line up nicely with our new wheel. Let's make sure we don't melt the brand new wheel. There we go, that was more difficult than it should have been. Come on, tack on. There we go. Solder just kept disappearing. I don't know where that was going. Right, wheel on, them on, that on. SMS is the other side. Got 5 volts. That's that one done. Move to the other side now. This one I'll start with. I don't know, maybe P clock. What do we start? Now start down here. There we go. Start by the resistor. Oh, actually, no. Before we do that, we've got to grind off. This is a good one to show you for the Clean Screen V4 install, because I still haven't managed to get around to a V4 install on a 1ASIC original board. So this is effectively the identical thing because the ribbon's identical. So see this little notch here that looks ridiculously small, like you'd never be able to solder it, but it works. There's a via there, and then even worse, this one looks crazy, but there's a via underneath. So we need to scrape away that via and that via, was it? Yeah, so them two. So we can get some solder on. Let's do a digital zoom. It's rare I have to use this digitally zoom thing. And I still don't have a grinder that can do anything. I've still got. I need to tidy this desk up again. It's gone slowly messy. That ain't going to work. I'm going to use my scalpel. So this is actually one time I'm going to go to the microscope. Of all things where you don't need the microscope, I'm going to go to it just because I need to get my head over, and you're not going to see when I put my big head over. So let's go go to scope view so you can see. That's better. So where are we? That, I think it's that one. So that one there. I'm just gonna, wow, that is such a bad visual for you guys, but yeah, that's there. I'm just gonna basically touch down with the scalpel and drag over. And there's the view exposed. And then I'm going to do the same for this one here, which, there we go. Such a low depth of field on this. If I move it even slightly, it goes out of focus for you. So it was this one. Yeah, so now it's out of focus for you. That's why I don't like using the microscope. There we go. I'm going to try and not get this bit here, but I don't think it'll matter too much. But again, just push down with your scalpel, scrape over. And there you go, like that. So I'm not really applying much pressure at all. And then just get some IPA. You can see you've got the exposed copper there. And then if we go back to normal view now, and where are we? There we are. So there's the pads. Zoom in again like that, and if we just get some solder. In fact, you probably want to put a bit of flux on each pad, like so, and then just blob on. You don't need to worry about how much bronze. It's not going to stick. Like, can't really go anywhere. It's basically going to attach to a ball like that. You can't have too much, basically. And then the same for this one. So just, you can flood your iron with solder. Take off the cap next to it because I can't tell where my iron is. Move it out of the way, man. Go over the pad like that. And then the idea is you want the pad ideally to ball up. And see how the bottom of that via wasn't quite exposed. So see that little bit of green there? That's why we're not getting the solder to make a ball, because we've got a slight bit of the via still covered there, that little green bit, the, see if I can get to it there. And that'll stop. If you can't get a ball to form, then you haven't like exposed the pad enough, basically. That's what it'll be. So you don't need to keep going over, and see how it's instantly filled again now. So if you're not getting it to fill as a bubble straight away, don't just keep going. It's never going to turn into a bubble. And then you'll just end up warming the pad more than you need to. It's more than likely you just didn't expose the entire ring of the via, which you need to in order to get, that ball to appear over the top like that, if that makes sense. I want me hot this cap back on, even though, again, you don't need this cap because this is a debounce cap on the data pins, and we short out these resistors that make these caps completely pointless, but I'm just going to put it back on for the sake. Or I'm going to try to. And I say to every stream, I need a light in here because it's ridiculously dark. Like, I don't get how it's so dark. Ow, hot, hot, hot. I have wiped away the capacitor. Capacitor, go bye-bye. That teaches it for burning my finger. That's not going back on. But yeah, I was going to say anyway, these caps aren't needed because these are debounce caps. They form an RC filter, and we join these out. So this one's actually not needed. I only burnt my finger and got thrown across the room somewhere. So I could replace him if we needed him, but he's not needed. Clean that area up, and let's get the ribbon on down here. Now we've exposed that. So that goes over, and then yeah, these 2 points are basically bridging the resistors. So if you're installing this and you struggle, even if you take off all 4 of these resistors and all 4 of these caps, they don't need to go anywhere. They bypass completely. All these are doing is tapping into these ASIC pins up here somewhere, and bridging the resistors out, which then makes these redundant as well. So you really don't need to worry about soldering this section and swiping them components off. Like, don't go bother trying to put them back on if you've lost them and stuff. They're literally doing nothing. So let's then get, say, one of these corners in. Like that. Those are still aligned enough. That's aligned, that's aligned. So before we tack the rest on, let's go all the way up here and align, say, the left one. And this goes to this cap. So just tack it in place. Probably a bit far over. In fact, we're probably going to need more to tack that in place, so let's tack the P-clock in place instead. Because we're going to need 2 hands to do the other one. There we go. And then on the left now, we just flood it with solder to get a nice big blob, like that. Then we can go down to here, probably flux these. On the T10, try to solder the pad on the PCB first. So get a ball like that, and then just flood this one and push down with your tweezers to make it nice and flat. And same for the resistor, just solder on. That's that. And then on this, maybe we go to the scope on this so you can see a bit clearer. Also, I can see a bit clearer. There we go. So that's there, and then get this in focus for you guys. Trying to get where it actually looks correct for you. Yeah, I definitely want a better microscope. Like, it's nice and clear on the eyes, but the camera, the sensor above this, just, to me, that is not, it's like clear in one way but not clear in another. Right, so the H pad up here, you put flux on if you want, I'm not going to bother, but this is now you pre-tin the bottom, all you do is flood it with solder, and then once you've got solder on your tip, just push down a little bit. Is this even on? I think it's tip's wearing out. Flood it with solder, and then push down with the tip. There we go, and it kind of pushes on and connects. So they look really small, like this one looks really small, but they just flow on, like it's just not hard basically. So just flood with solder and see how it just works. It's just attached, so you kind of can't even see because this camera's so shite, but yeah, soldered perfectly on. So it looks like it's harder than it is. Like, people see them 2 blobs and think they're really difficult, but they're actually easier than the resistors. So they're genuinely easier than soldering these. So like this one, you want to try and keep the ribbon flat to the board. Like so. And that's that. I think that's the ribbon soldered. And I think we've done. I think that's clean screen install. We've got the wheel stuff, we've got the ribbons on, clean screen's in here. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing anything. SMS pin is top of that resistor, T10, VSync H-Sync. Yeah, I think we're all good. So let's go for clean screen install. I'll update this first. One thing we've discovered with these as well, which, even though, where's it gone? There. The new ones, like the whole point of this clean screen being updated was meant to be these flex ribbons that go into the clean juice and coming up the power cord, and then you connect this to the clean screen to do effectively then plugging in a USB here and updating. But we had to release these quicker than we made these, so people have been installing these into, well, I'll say people, I think we've got about 3 people do it, install this into the Game Gear, and then handwire, because I showed off how to handwire data plus and minus to a USB port. They've been soldering then either soldering data plus and VCC, which is a problem. You don't solder VCC. Or they've been installing this in a board, connecting up the original power supply, like I suppose you would think to do. But then they go, oh, I want to update my Game Gear, and they don't have a clean juice yet, so they take it out the board, plug a USB in here. But if you plug a USB in here while the original board's in, it's going to kill this board. So just a word of warning, don't update the Game Gear through this port if you've got a power board connected. But when it's in a shell, the purpose of it pointing here is that you can't do that, because then when it's installed in this shell, it's physically blocked from being, you can't plug into it. So that's kind of, I thought that would be enough to stop people even potentially doing that, but just basically a warning that if you don't have a clean juice and you have, or if anyway, if you ever want to plug into this direct port here, just make sure you don't have a power board plugged in. And then on the re-PCBs, we plug in here because we don't have a power board in half the time, so we'll have this here, and then you can either plug in a blank USB stub there, so just a cut off USB end, and then power the actual Game Gear from here and fully turn it on. But yeah, that's a little warning. I plan to, on the next one anyway, have, what I'm thinking of is like a toggle switch on here that's defaulted to off, or even a push button, which is probably even safer. So the push button enables power to the system. So if for whatever reason you wanted to update this, if this was a power button to pass the power through and you're not pressing it, you could plug this in and then turn your Game Gear on with the power board and everything's fine. But then if you held down the button to send power, that would be the problem. So it's like a really obvious thing that stops people just plugging a cable in and it being a problem. It's like a fail-safe, and then on the PCB I can have a big warning like, do not press this button with power board or something, then it's, you know, really obvious. But luckily, out of all the ones we've sold, we've had just 3 reports of it so far. And to be honest, I could kill. I don't want to go on too many side quests again because it's nearly 5 as well. This is crazy. I'm going to have to work on these others tomorrow. I was going to say, I can purposely kill a power board as well and find out what it kills so that we can tell people exactly what component to replace if it screws up, which is something I'll do, but probably not today. I did not expect this one to take this long either, because yeah, I'm gonna have to do another stream oh god, yeah, I'm gonna be so busy. I'll have to do another one tomorrow. I've got to get at least 3 re-PCBs built, and I've got another 10 as well that Retro6 US have been waiting for a while that I just cannot get around to, because obviously we have just constant overloaded work all the time at the minute. But I'll try and we might get them all done tomorrow, we'll see. I'll clear these. Oh, got bits of the old fuse still hovering over. You have to clear off these holes fully, otherwise they stick into the Game Gear. Clean screen. Oh yeah, Rusty will be in chilling with the missus watching TV at the minute while I'm slaving away on a Saturday. Is it Saturday? I don't even know what day we're on. I think it's Saturday. I hope it's Saturday, otherwise I haven't got tomorrow to do work. Oh no, he'll growl at me as soon as I go in as well. He'll be expecting treats for me being up. It's like my problem that I've gone away to work is, but I have to make it up to him, not the other way around. Right, we're flat on there. We should now be able to get this in this way. Stick this straight down. Oh yeah, he hasn't even had, oh yeah, I was about to say he hadn't had milk today. He hadn't had it off me, but he's had it off the missus. He'll 100% be after one of them now. It's coming to tea time. That's how there. This goes through here. And then if we get one of these in the corner. It's my least favourite part about the clean screen install, getting these stupid brackets aligned. I want to think of a clip-in solution for this. Although we definitely won't be having a clip-in solution because I've just remembered the factory are now making proper molds for me, proper steel molds for injection molded brackets. So they're going to be, I think they're going to be clear as well. So I'll have clear brackets, properly injection molded that fit accurate because we're now selling that many. The factory had to 3D print like 1,000 of them for the last order. And they said, like, why are we 3D printing 1,000 brackets? We just make a mold for it. So these will soon be improved. But then, because we've done that, my little clipping idea won't work. Yeah, so we just have to screw them in. Luckily, I don't have to build them myself that often. So, right, so now we've got all that screwed in. We just want to connect this up. And it should work, I think. Goes in. Come on, fat fingers, get it in. There we go. That's slightly wonky, isn't it? Unless this is an old ribbon. Ah, this is an old V3 ribbon. I was going to say, why is this not lining up perfect? But the V3 ribbons fully fit in the V4, but I think I fixed this. I think I did. Or maybe it's just in the originals, because I always use re-PCBs. I mean, it fits, it just looks a little bit, you know, a little bit odd. But it's obviously in the right position because of that. Right, that's all in, screen in. There we go. And now, let's plug it into the PC, I think. Well, the Mac in this case. And update the firmware first. Because we should have... Oh, yeah, you can test this anyway, exactly like this without anything in. Could have tested this before even connecting it to the Game Gear at all. You just apply power to the USB port and it should come up and moan that there's no Game Gear. There we go. Oh, well, it did. Oh, this is this is old firmware. This is 4.0.8. I know that because this keeps cycling when there's no Game Gear. So this is working, but it's on old firmware. So let's open up ggcs.retro6.co.uk, which is the update website. Select device. It's found it there. Connect, and then it should say update. Or not. Or is this because, like I say, the old firmware constantly power cycles? Yeah. So I think the problem with the really old, update now. The problem with the version 4.0.8, it just power cycles constantly if you don't have a Game Gear connected. So that then, if you get to this stage where it updates, you can then, actually you can't cancel out. You can unplug the cable, hold the boot button by the USB, so you can hold this boot button and plug it back in. And then it should show as a drive, basically. So it's because, I think it was, ironically, it was the LED that we're not making use of yet on the back was adding noise to the system. So when there was no Game Gear then, no Game Gear turned on, it would power cycle. So it's a bit tricky sometimes if you're updating the 4.0.8, but that was the very first release, like the first version that went out. And they have all long since sold out now, so hopefully most people aren't on that anyway. Now we're on the 12. You can see now it stays stable, so that bug's like fixed in the previous ones. So that is all updated, and we can now do what? Power it up? Yeah. That in. Might as well put our audio board in for now. Actually, might as well put the clean juice in so we don't have to get extra wires. And then put Sonic in. Flip over. And we're done with PC now. All up to date. Zoom out. And turn on, I guess. There we go. Full focus, is it? There we go. All working. So that's the customer's install all done. Just got to put this into a shell, and then we need to test it fully works, basically, with the buttons, game, and we'll try and get that. See if I can get anywhere near that 19 seconds I used to be able to get on Sonic when I was testing these loads. So our test stuff can move out of the way. That can go. That's mine. And now we'll build this up. So, button, rubber. I think he sent a bag of screws in. Yes, he did. Try not to let me forget to put this strap in as well, because I forget where it goes. I think it wraps over. Does it wrap over this bit? I think it wraps over that post, doesn't it? Is it that way? I think it just hooks over there, doesn't it, when you close it in? That's where it goes, yeah. That's stump or one of them. It's there. Dust in between the screens. I'll leave that to Zach to lens drop. So we push these out. Like, in fact, that's a good point. We need to push this lens out, the old one. And I presume he's going to have a brand new one, because these plastic ones, we'll give it him back and he can always lens drop it himself. But that's like, we take the plastic ones out and then Zach lens drops them like under a station to keep them nice and clean. But I don't find the Game Gear's getting ingress, and I mean, they've got this little pad, but it's something I want to focus on. Now I'm making another clean screen for like the GBA at some point. I want to refocus on like a specific dust guard that works especially for the Game Gear. So in fact, yeah, so I will take that out. Yeah, I'll take that off. Just make sure we don't touch that screen. This is all in, so down. Oh, actually, just before doing that, nearly pushed it down. You've got to cut on the original shell. Got to cut that stump nice and flush to the bottom. Otherwise, you crack your screen. So everything's still in. It goes down, locks in, and now all the PCB screws go in. He says. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws for the back. The big screw we can have back because that's also not needed now. And then we've got 2 big ones for the cartridge connector. He's got way too many screws here. This is definitely 2 Game Gear sets of screws. There's no way that many are going back in the Game Gear. It's definitely sent me 2. I mean, we'll have 4 left over because I've used the 4 for the screen. That's a given, but there's no way there's this many screws, I'm sure. Yeah, that's all the screws. So we've got an entire console worth of screws left. So that's all in there. Well, there's a few for the power and audio board, but still not. Oh yeah, and then there's the shield. Maybe we have. Maybe it is because he's taken the shield off and everything. Maybe that's part of the screws. Power board. Didn't put the power switch in. Forget that every single time. Take it all apart. Get the screw stuck. There we go. Try again. Put the power switch in upside down, take it out again. Try a 3rd time. Success. Right, the shield back over for the cartridge. That's way around. Right, that leaves 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's actually right, because then he's got the 4 screws left that would have been in the original screen that we've used from the clean screen. So it is only 1 game. Yeah, that's a lot of screws. Right, to put the strap in. The thing is, I don't forget. Left or right? Does anybody know which side the strap normally goes? I think it's on the left, I think. I suppose you can always unscrew it if he wants. Hey, afternoon. Just wrapping up. We're just clipping this build back together. And then I'll be on tomorrow doing re-PCBs. I've got to do at least 3. But I've also got to do software videos. And I've got to do something else. So, I don't know. It's going to be probably an early. Don't know whether to do. I don't know which way around do it. Software videos first. Oh, actually, this as well needs cutting, doesn't it? After I've screwed that back in. When you have the clean screen, you have to also cut them. See, I told you this is something I rarely do on originals. I never fit originals these days. Luma code, nice. In fact, I didn't even know they did the Luma code on the NES at the minute. I never even give that a thought. That's a really good way of getting HDMI out. Because obviously the main problem with the NES is getting a connector on. Oh yeah, I've got the I've got some of them original Game Gear battery packs. Yeah, right, we don't need that. I think I showed this off on the last stream. Cut that off. Cut this off. Not even using my wire sniffers because this is so soft. Chuck them away. Fit that back on now. So, you know, the other option is as well, I could make the Game Gear work with Lumicode, the V4. Or you could even just tap it off the RGB and use the RGB to HDMI little board that works anyway to naturally work already. But I could integrate like a Lumicode one into just the extension port connector. But with the... oh, actually, no, I probably couldn't. It's using the proper Raspberry Pi, isn't it? Not the Pico, I think. The Lumicode. Pretty sure it is. And it would be too big to fit inside the Game Gear's extension port section, I think. You can use Lumicode, but you just use it external. You know, you just send out the RGB signals and, like I say, connect it up to the RGB to HDMI carrier board. Oh, and you have to cut that. Yeah. I really should do a guide on this, to be honest. Installing the clean screen in the original shells. Like, how is anybody even managing other than the fact that they've known about the clean screen for so long and that many people have installed it? It's kind of just... I think most people that do the Game Gear mods just know. Yeah, it's kind of, if you've got RGB. I think RGB is the most universal thing to support. I think if you're supporting RGB, you can get to anything else. As opposed, that's why I'm not necessarily against the HDMI internal mods, but I kind of think you're better off having RGB internal mods so that you can always do HDMI from that. You know, it's like, whereas if you replace the output for HDMI, you can't get back to RGB for CRTs or converting it to VGA or anything else. Probably best charging this. I've used it that much. I've never charged this in ages. Right, so that's all built, and like I say, we'll just move that out of the way. I'll lens drop this tonight. 6 batteries. Where are my batteries? On here. This is where we find out his battery springs don't work, and I've got to open it all back up again. Kodak. Make sure we mix them. Can't have all the same. 2 Amazon Basics, a random Panasonic, and a Retro 6 rechargeable. Why not? Wouldn't be retro without it. So 1 rechargeable, 1 alkali from Panasonic, 2 alkali from Kodak, and 2 brand new Amazon Basic rechargeables. Who says battery mix chemistries doesn't work? Perfectly fine. Gaming. Look at that, no problem mixing batteries. Let's see if we can get this this record. There we go. Full focus. I'm gonna have to probably look at the screen. Oh, it's the wrong side. Oh, that audio sounds horrible. Is that how the original Game Gear sounds? Oh, that's mad. I'm not used to hearing it from... Oh, actually, I like the clean sound though. That is so different from the clean juice. From the clean amp. That's mad. That's clipping and everything. Like there's low... That's weird. There's like bass clipping, but not peak clipping. Yeah, that is literally... That is clipping bass sounds only. That is strange. I'm so used to hearing it through the clean amp. That sound... Oh, I don't know. I don't know whether I like it now. I'm really... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's horrible at first, but then something about them low... I think it's just because it's different. I'm so used to hearing... Oh, no way. I forgot how clean they are now on the clean screen V4. The rectangles. Like, they actually... smoothing integer scale. Because the V3 really struggled with them. Yeah, and they are nice and sharp. Yeah, I'm not sure what I think about that. Yeah, no, it's worse. I think it just sounded nicer because it was different at the start, but that is so strange. Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you're missing so much that's clearly there. Yeah, that's working anyway. Tell you what, one game I can't get working. I found in my tub. I should probably service it as a Shining Force. No, this would not work on me Game Gear I was testing it on. Yeah, so it wasn't mine. It doesn't work on this one either. So shall we maybe baby side quest time? See if we can get this working. This would be a good little video for people that want to know how to potentially fix games as well. Couldn't be easier. The only thing is the Game Gear, you need a game bit driver, which is too high up for the lens to properly focus on. Of course it is. So see that like rounded game bit end? It basically matches this screw in here. So that screw shape, basically it's a, I think it's a 4 point, is it 3.8 or the 4.3? I think this is the, well, no, this screwdriver is the 4.3 or whatever it is, that's too big. And then we need the little one for the games, which is the 3 point something. Where is my little one? It's in here, I think. No, not there. Is it on one of these? Actually, don't know what I've done with me my small game bit end thing. Or was it just back in the tub? Could have sworn I kept it out. There. So in this tub, you can see we've got, yeah, you can just about see anyway. See that 3.8 and 4.5. So you want the 3.8. Oh, that does not want to. I want to show up on camera. There you go. So 3.8, and it's that. So that's the small one that goes over there. So probably do that with me hand. Nope, can't even turn it with my hand. Not strong enough. So take him off. And then on the Game Gear games, I think they slide. Like up or down, but there's clips here. You can see the clip line. So if you can't slide it like up or down, you can just usually, yeah, I think they normally slide this way, but they tend to be that stiff from just the age of them that you just have to crack them open once. So it sounds awful on mine, but this is my game. I just normally pull apart. This is really seized in. So let's see if we can get down there and flick that and catch. There we go. They're just really seized in. So in fact, that just snapped the clip anyway. So there's a clip down here, which is there, but these normally just pull apart basically. Like down there. So this is perfect guide on how not to do it, to be honest. Dent the plastic. So it's down there. And then there's another one here. So maybe like pushing, but honestly, these normally just pull apart. They don't normally have to be wedged. So maybe like tweezers down the side instead of a big heavy plastic thing. I think that's just out anyway. Yeah, that's one of them clips has gone bye-bye. Yeah, there's the other one. There we go. So there's the little clip from that one. Let me show you what's in them so you know. So they've got this this clip there. So you see this clip there, and that's why I normally just pulling them. They just basically bend in and flex out. He's obviously decided go bye-byes on us. So normally all you have to do on most games is you have the screw off and you just literally, if you pull gently or firmly either way, they normally just clip off quite easily. But this one's quite, you know, that's why it didn't want to come apart. It's all like stuck together with, yeah, rot, basically. So how far do we want to go to fix this? I mean, we'll start with, it's probably going to work. It probably just needs a clean. Let's move the customer's Game Gear well out of the way while we're using IPA. Clean off any visual contamination first. On the back. Try and clean that nasty schism out the back cover. And that's all stained in there. I'm not, like I say, too fussed about cleaning the insides too much. It's just my game. I just wanted to get it working. Wanted to see what it was like. So that's the general gunk cleaned off. So let's see if we can see a problem. Not that much to it. One here, there's rot, but this is a drill through hole after production test running. So that's like we don't care about. There's a bit of rot there, but the plane's that big that's not going to be an issue. There's a misplaced via there that doesn't even line up with anything. Or is that just massive rot? I don't even know at that point whether that's meant to be there or rot. Can't even tell. If so, that's completely gone, and we'll probably need to restore it because, yeah, that's a completely, even though it's on a massive plane, that one's gone. So we'll need to restore that if it's by the hole. So it's this one. So he should be this one should be going under to the other side, and it does not. So that's definitely gone, but we need to restore it. I think what I'll do for that is try and poke a wire through. So we will get a little bit of wire. It's the most expensive £2 game repair ever. Unless this game's magically expensive. What's this game even worth? Like, how much time and money am I wasting here just fixing my own game for the sake? It better be a really good game when we come test it. I'm going to see if I can poke this through that hole. Is the idea. There it is. Probably can't. Oh, I can. Yay. So I can poke that through. It's called Shining Force, I think. Yeah, Shining Force. Japanese game as well, so we won't even be able to read it. But I've poked that wire through. So all I've done is taken some of that wire that I sell on the website, that's on the homepage, and poked him through that hole. So now I can bend that leg down to there. In fact, we'll do that first on this side. We will, well, then do need to bend the leg down because that V is fine this side. I'm going to tack the wire in here so it can't go anywhere. Oh, I've turned my iron. See, I thought it was done. I've turned my iron off and everything. And this is, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know the chips on the Game Gear games yet. I haven't quite come to making my own cartridge, but that's definitely something we'll be seeing now. There we go. We'll put a new battery on. That's still got a bit of grime. So the grime and stuff here, we can fix up if I can be bothered. We can basically just put some flux on and reflow, but I'm not overly concerned yet in case we don't get it working. 26, to be honest, not too bad. But yeah, so then all I can do here is get the aggressive grinder, the kills everything grinder. Jesus, I wasn't wrong. Wrong tool for the job. There we go. There we go. 15-ish. Oh, don't break me heart. You're getting lower. Tell me it's 150 quid. In fact, say it's a one-off prototype that is signed by the creator. There we go. Wheelie. shitty looking bodge fix, but that'll do. Right, so that's one broken trace. There looks like another really dodgy. Yeah, that's gone. But let's see where he goes. This broken trace goes here to there to nowhere, but where does the other side go? So that via flip over is here. So the via does need to get back to here. So this is going through this hole, flip over. So it's the outer one actually. This one. So this one's trying to get to there, flips over, and then it's broken here, so it isn't making its way up here, which goes all the way up here. Oh, all the vias are knackered. Oh my god. Do I really care that much to fix this many vias? Or is that actually, I think I've just stumbled across the only place they are. I think there's a lot broken there. This one we've got to fix. Oh, nice. It's £100. Great. We'll carry on. And then this side, I think, to be honest, where we saw them broken vias is probably the bulk of them. So maybe we'll carry on. Yeah, let's carry on just for a minute. Oh, nice. In fact, it's even got a rare build number. Look, 6418A. The A was like a really rare early release for sure. I bet you can't even find that version for sale. Fix this one. Got some guy screaming outside. He's not happy. Right, so we need to go through this via. There's a hole there as well I could have gone through. But we need to. I'm going to have to use my delicate tool for this. Seriously, triple trouble. I've got Sonic Triple Trouble. I've got it in a random. And in fact, I think I just give it away. Oh, I did. I just sent a Triple Trouble to a random guy that didn't have many games to test on. So I went to the warehouse and grabbed a few out. And I literally distinctly remember the Triple Trouble. Probably still got a few more, but I'll have to check my tub because I've probably got like 3 or 4 of them. Or were you joking about that price? But I've genuinely got quite a few Triple Troubles. I might even have it up here. No, I've not got it there. I still give away quite an expensive game though, to be honest. With that. Oh yeah, you mean this? Just lying in a tub. Too much stuff. Right, so that's going to poke through that hole. Should be long enough, so we'll go from this side through, poke the wire through, and bend him down. So that's how we want him. So flappy wire there. Fix this trace. There we go. We soldered on, poked through the via, come the other side, and then we can now go to this chip. And now what do you reckon? We test it, even though I know there's more broken. Like, yeah. We need a new battery. And my concern is these. Like, these look bad. But, I'm tempted to see if it works. As opposed to get disheartened by broken traces. So he's good. Like, I wouldn't sell it, obviously, because this isn't exactly good. But if they're fragile and working, it's good enough for me. That one is going. So he's good. That one, did we check that one? No, we didn't. He goes Oh, he goes nowhere. Wow. So this trace goes up, through, round, up, all the way up through here, around, down to there. Literally a massive nowhere trace. Oh, he's broken, is he? Or am I probing the wrong thing? Probing the wrong thing. So he's fine. He's fine. Fine. Oh, so you know what? I reckon that's going to work. I think. I mean, it is quite a bad looking board, but I reckon this will work. We'll need that to put it back together. Batteries we'll need after. We'll need tidying up in advance, knowing either way it works or it doesn't. And then let's go and test. So customers, console, that way is it? Backboard first. These back together. IPA for good luck. In we go. Shining Force. Oh, we got further. Got a white screen. Oh. Do we quickly reflow him? Let's give him a quick reflow. Seems a shame to have done all that work for not work. The flashing green. Yeah, see, I got that flashing green thing on one of them on stream. Well, not flashing green, to be honest. It was the flashing pixels. But then it obviously can't be the code in a way because we've sold so many and I've built so many. And the exact same code doesn't do it on another one. But there could be like edge cases. But I think it was maybe PowerBoard related or something normally. But yeah, I'd downgrade back. Well, if you've upgraded to the 13, we pulled that pretty much straight away because I was just testing RGB. But I'd just go to that 12 I've just updated this on and see if it goes away first. And it could just be like a bad. Oh, I think that's what it was. It was one of the ribbon cables not quite inserted right. I think that's what was doing it for me. I think it was the right ribbon cable. Looks like it's in, but you know, isn't quite. It's got a slight slant and causes noise on one of the H-Sync pins, I think is what it was. Let's just reflow all the chips. And we might have a shorted cap as well on these, so I might remove, like, let's fuck him off. I don't like the look of him. You can go. Because he definitely looked bad. And then the other thing is you could have broken traces under these chips. Like some of these, they might be okay this side, but they might be rotted under the chips, if you know what I mean. So, and you could also just have the fact that the actual ROM might be bad, might be a, you know, dead ROM chip. There we go. I mean, we didn't check the edge things either, did we? That's the other thing. We'll try this first, but we should probably test like from here to each via, because you can have hairline cracks here where they join to the bigger tips. They haven't used teardrops. Game we're working on Shining Force. I don't know why I'm working on it. I just went side questing. Shining Force. I just want to see what it's like. But yeah, you can get hairline cracks on these pins and you'll never see them visually. Like you can multimeter test it, find out that it's got a bad trace and you never see it. So we might just test that as well. But let's see if the reflow did it. Damn you. Go on, Shining Force. And so, quick test on, I guess, all of these pins. And then if not, I suppose we'll lift them off just to see if there was any trace damage underneath. Or get another game and swap just the ROM over. There's a point. Depends how custom they are and what different chips they're on. We'll see. So this one should be fairly quick to test. Fine. We'll do the bottom half first and then go to the top. Ooh, look at that fluxy mess all over my table now. How's that for hand-eye coordination? Looking at a stream. Yeah, so nothing wrong there. I mean, this board's filthy now. We need to see what we're doing. So. Anybody know what these chips are? I looked into the Game Gear specific, like how the Game Boys have got like memory mappers and certain ROM chips and that. I haven't looked too, even though I'm making the Game Gear Studio thing, I haven't really looked into like the variants in games on the Game Gear games. I'm wondering whether if we can identify which is a mapper, which is ROM, and if there's a similar chip, I could just swap stuff over. That's a bit cleaner. So this is clearly RAM. It's probably SRAM, static RAM. I know that because it's got 256 at the end, 62256. So it's going to be some kind of CMOS static RAM. This will almost definitely be the game, the ROM. So he's the key one. This HC32 is actually just a stock. Sad that I know there's many things without even knowing what they are. This is a stock. It's probably going to be like a buffer or a gate or something. It's definitely an off-the-shelf part though. And battery backups of this is probably going to be a save retention maybe for the static RAM. That's my guess. So we shouldn't need him. We don't need him. We likely need him, and him to work. Green pixels are gone again, downgrade. Yeah, so the 14 introduced. It probably will be. I was being lazy on a sofa in my living room coding that RGB, hoping it was going to work. Yeah, to be honest, I could remake these boards very easy. Wow, that sun, look at that. That's telling me I need to go. Now I've got just pure sunlight in my eye. Did we miss anything? Let's think of the obvious first. Let's fully zoom in. Did we miss any trace? So we know this goes nowhere that side, but then this side balls out and flips over. And actually, did we check like something stupid like did we solder this to the wrong one? Because I do that sometimes. Easy restored to the other side of there, which goes nowhere, but it bridges over. So this dot by the cut there should go to this dot over here. Oh, so that's battery backup anyway, so that won't matter, the one we restored. So that won't be a problem, but is this one a problem? So dot on his own down here, which is going to that pin, should go all the way up, all the way along. And how are we going to figure out that pin? 2 in a row at the bottom, roughly there, right side. It goes underneath. So you know what? This is going to have rot under here, I bet. Let me now look. Actually, before we do that, let's test if there's continuity to one of the pins, because we know there should be, in theory, continuity from the recovered pin, not here, this recovered pin here should have continuity to one pin here somewhere. Oh, would you look at that? So it's not going to any of them, but the trace goes to right underneath. So this trace is going from here, where we tested, up to here. But then that trace, which is roughly here, just by the 3 dots, is under here, and it goes to none of them. So we have a rotted trace underneath here as well, I'm sure. Yeah, I think the YouTube thing's broken in general. I'm apparently streaming vertical and horizontal, and it's only on horizontal again. And I have to click and, you know, constantly click in and out to do it, but I don't think this sucker's going to pick this one up, it's too small. I'm making my own stream software along with everything else I'm making. So let's go to the tweezers. I think this is rotted to the board. No way, this should not be coming off now. Okay, sod camera a minute, I need to get the thing to the edge of the board so I can actually lift him off. Ow, hot, 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 touch my mat. There we go, yeah, it was kind of stuck to the board. So I had to push him to the edge of my board to get that off. Somebody's ordered a takeaway. So we must have. They don't look rotted, but there must be one there. So let's test while he's off. See, I've got a. What am I having tonight? I can't remember already. Some TGI's chicken things frozen. I never eat frozen stuff, and then I've seen some frozen stuff. Some like chicken bites. There we go. And there you go. So look at that. Continuity broken. So that's the cause there. So let's check all these while we're in. You watch, that'll be the only one broke as well. That was happened to be rotted in 2 places. That's how broken. Oh yeah, look at that. You can move it. Like that V is literally moving. So the one by U2 here. That one is the one we need to connect our wire to. Oh god. Go away, stupid evening sun. Why am I super busy and I'm pissing around with a game that has no relevance? I've got loads of game gears to build. Never mind. Why does my hot air station keep making crackling noises as well? It's a bit concerning. Right, so there we'll go. I'm going to presume under here is fine because I can't really bother to remove him yet. So we just need to chuck this chip back on. Did he go on this way? Yeah, he did, didn't he? And then we need to add a wire to where this scratch mark is. Oh yeah, it's defo going on the Sage oven. At least it'll be something useful instead of... Oh, I've managed to cook muffins and soft white baps finally. And the only difference, I'll put it in the Sage oven. Same recipe, like I could not get soft white baps for the life of me. I've done the exact same recipe in the Sage oven and I've actually got baps that work. So I'm well impressed with it. So it just proves that literally a real key part to baking is a decent oven. Like, you cannot cook without a decent oven no matter how much you try. Clean just air, no, that stopped due to one, the cost of the components was getting high, and 2, the wireless chip I used was a local Chinese chip where it was clearly, I think, a clone of a popular brand, because the factory didn't even know how their own chip worked. So I had to figure it all out myself, buying tons of wireless adapters and then working out the protocol on the scope. And then I told them how their chip worked because they didn't know. And then we still ended up with the odd compatibility issue where different brands of wireless chip it wouldn't work with. And I didn't fancy reverse engineering every wireless chip on the market when that was the whole point of that wireless chip. It was meant to do that, and I ended up having to like hard code the stuff into the design. Well, not necessarily hard code, but using capacitors and resistors to set up timings and triggers and things to work. So basically it was just a headache. And I didn't like how hot wireless charging got. So the plan is for the GBC Clean Juice to do the AA again like all the others. Right, and what do we reckon? Oh, we need to restore the trace first. So that wire's useless going under there, but we'll leave it in place anyway. We'll do a nice green wire. Just because we can. Oh yeah, there are, I know people say China steel all the time, but they do make a lot of their own stuff, but this was a definite case of this company had just delidded somebody's wireless chip, put it on the market, made a data sheet that how they thought it worked, which was definitely not how it worked, and then sold it, basically. But they definitely didn't know how it worked because, like I say, I oscilloscoped how the wireless charger interfaces all worked, and it wasn't holding. I can't even remember much of it now, but basically they like negotiate at the start with limiting currents and power draws, and it's based on it tries to pull a certain current for a certain time, and that causes like a pulse in the volts drop. And it was all about toggling one of the pins on the chip for long enough, basically. And I could tweak that by adding a larger capacitor to a pin on the chip, so it took longer to charge up, and then that's what got it working. But then you'd have other chargers where I didn't know the full protocol, but I presume it was a different protocol it was trying to negotiate, and if you didn't then respond quick enough, it would error out. So then you get some chargers you could make it work for, and then it'd stop it working for others because one would want it to be a long, slow pulse, and the other would want it to be quick. So I think without making the chip properly, you can't really fix it with just the way I did it, like a hackish way. But he got it working, and like there was rarely anyone with a problem, to be honest. But I just wasn't happy with it overall as a, like, you know, as a product. And then, like I say, when they put the prices up of the ICs, that was like the nail in the coffin, where I'm like, I can't charge more or make less money either, because it's already, I wasn't making that much on that product anyway. It was just a maintenance nightmare, basically, or would have been. Right, this has got to be at some point where I say I'll stop so I can go have tea. One of the things I was going to get a patent for as well, I might as well say now because I don't really care and I'm not going to patent it, and I'm not in that section anymore, but I don't really remember when all the whole carbon nanotube stuff was coming out, you know, where they'd made like graphene tubes and carbon nanotubes and stuff but they never really found a use for it. I don't know whether they have now, maybe they have, and maybe it's in products I don't even know of. But I was in the middle of making wireless charging as well for another product, and I had a great idea that we were going to patent, and I never got round to it, basically. I think this case is slowly falling apart as well. And the idea was, I think Apple and Samsung tried it as well, but their solution was to put loads of wireless coils everywhere. You know, you have to put your bad batteries. You know, you have to put your coil very specifically in a certain spot for your phone. Yay! And their idea was to just put way more coils in. My idea, well, that's loud. Oh, it's like an RGB. My idea was to put carbon nanotubes in instead of coils, to be able to then have loads of interconnecting rings that toggle on and off and changing which one is conductive at what time, to effectively form like a coil in a certain spot. And then, oh, that's quite cool. Always got an anime girl at the start of Japanese games. Player 1, yes. This was always the biggest challenge with Japanese games, to try and get past the intros, because you don't know what's what. Press start. This is clearly my name now. Where's 6? The only thing I'll remember in Japanese is the number 6, because that's my logo. Where are you? No number 6. It's a shame. Yeah, so my basic idea was to use carbon nanotubes to try and do the wireless charging stuff, but never got far enough to really mess with. Yeah, if I go to Japan, I'm going to be poor. I wouldn't want to leave. Like, I'd love the food, I'd love the culture, I'd love the game, like everything about it I'd love. I'll probably go one day, but I've never been, and I would genuinely love it. Well, actually, check the clean screen menu. Yes, I still love that menu. Focus. Look at that, world's smallest menu. Scan lines. Oh, see, how much nicer is that? Like, personally, I love the scan lines on the Game Gear one. I think it's nice. And then width and height are perfect, X and Y is perfect. Stats. Oh, we've got to upgrade. I should have upgraded this customers for free, but never mind. Exit and undo. Somebody told me this actually doesn't undo and you get to keep the settings. No, there you go, cool. I actually like this game. Is there a fan translation of this? We can make this in Game Gear Studio as well, remember? Now I'm making the Game Gear Studio. We could make games like this. Like make a little pop-up menu, and this would be quite cool. I have no idea what I'm pressing here. We might be going in loops, or we might be just finishing the story off. Doo-doo. See, I'd end up buying all the rare stuff from Japan. I'd go in all the stores and I'd be like, everything that's rare I'd just be buying because I could. And everything's usually boxed over there as well. Oh yeah, I actually used to do that. I used to just put a Google Lens over the top. But I'm on a Crapple now, so I probably can't do that. Oh yeah, the Game Gear Studio is going to support every version of games. I'm obviously making it all from nothing at all. So I'm coding in like every scene. Shall we side quest on it? I'm not really going to show you the menu, but Game Gear Studio F5. See, I'm doing it the hard way. I'm opening Rider and I'm pressing F5 instead of dictating to AI to do that bit for me. Right, and Game Gear Studio, PC overlay. So on here, when you go to like new project, well, it doesn't matter which one, these are just demos, but say we go into my project, you can even have a mix. You can have a top-downer game that when you walk out of a door goes to a platformer. So in scenes here, you can make a new scene, and there's scene 3, and we can just say, what scene type is this? Oh, we want it to be a top-down 2D. So in fact, you probably can't see that. So in here, you go on here, and you can just change it from platformer, which at the minute, this one's platformer, this one's platformer. You could change it to like top-down 2D. And then when I've coded this, you could have, say, this scene going to, when you've made the map and you exit, you'll have an exit node in here. But then that would go to, where is my little option to go to scene? Scene flow. Oh, I haven't even put scene flow on yet. So say this one was the other thing. You'd change the scene flow here to like scene 3, and that will then also not update until I click out. So that's then going to that scene over here. But you could have any type of scene going to any other type of scene, and this one could be a top-down 2D, and this one's a platformer. So you could have like the platformer have a hitbox on a certain exit point that then goes to this scene, and then this turns into a top-down. That's actually a good point. I probably could translate this myself. Now I've got this code and stuff, and I'm closer to doing that. You know what? I bet I could. I bet I could write some software to automatically translate Game Gear Japanese games to any other language. Or do I do that tonight? That's got me thinking now, I might do. That's actually quite cool. I never thought about that. You could have... Yeah, I might do that and make it a tool and just translate games. And then we can see what... Because I presume this is going to be stored as character maps that go into the VRAM. But if we can... The thing is, the only thing we might need is somebody who actually speaks Japanese and tells us what all these characters are accurately if they're not... Like, if we don't get it accurate, but I'm sure they will. And then we'd have to run the... We'd have to extract it all as, like, script. Then run it through some AI translation that does a smart job of translating it, or pass it on to people on our Discord that can actually translate it for us, but they might not want to with how much is in there. I'd like to try and use AI to do most of the work for it, to do all the translation and then write it to go back in. Sorry, Mrs. Luke. Yeah, she's probably... It shouldn't anyway, she's messaging, she probably would be. Ooh, super chat, thank you very much. I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to see how far I can get tonight on translating it, because that'd be cool. But yeah, anyway, I need to go get some food. But at least that's a random game fixed, and this is the customer's... Yeah, that's in English. Hold, battle, inventory, maybe. I'll laugh how some stuff's always in English and most isn't. But yeah, anyway, that's it. I will get to some food because I'm quite hungry. I'll be on tomorrow, I'm sure, no doubt, unless I just get up really early and can't be bothered to stream. Just place that over there for tonight, because I need to build some re-PCBs. But at least that's one job done. And we can put that screw back in there, I guess. Yeah, maybe if I add another job to my list of many things I'm doing, maybe I ask in our Discord for native speakers first that how hard would it theoretically be versus me just going ahead and doing it. Let me close my game down. Oh no, I think I've updated my game and saved. Let me still check Retro6.live is working just for coolness. Yeah, he's still on. And there's us in the background. And then there's on there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, anyway. See you probably tomorrow.